Welcome to DT Madness, Chronicles from the Third Life, Episode 91, May 25th, 2024. So glad you could make it. Sipping on the Peru today. Went with that flavor instead of Nicaragua, which is my favorite. So we'll see how it stacks up. A little change. Happy summertime, really, with Memorial Day weekend set upon us. And school all but over, and definitely over for my kids as of yesterday. So we are about to crank up Fresh Prince. What was his DJ, man? Jazzy Jeff. Why could I not remember that? I was only thinking Easy Rock. Awareness, nonetheless. That was what what do you call it? Is it the instructor, the leader? I was doing a yoga class, and she was talking about awareness and how it's not something that we really work for. It's not a task. It's not a quest. Um, it's just something to be. It's just something to be. And she closed all of the things that she was saying by its awareness, nonetheless. And that I will be considering over the next 100 years. Raquel Franco on Instagram. I don't know who Raquel Franco is, if she's famous or if she's just a Instagram poet, but her poem said, "Build a bucket list that needs no cell phones. Get more acquainted with the blood orange face of the June sun. Throw the soft fabric of your skin into a lake. Fold your body like a womb and cannonball yourself into the deep. Let there be more happy hours, sweat of a glass dripping down your wrist on a patio with a string of starry lights. Take yourself to a strawberry garden and stain your fingertips ruby red. When it rains, stroll the aisles of an old bookstore and strum the spine of stories yet to be ventured. Lose time's phone number. Slow dance through summer to the percussion of your own pulse." And she titled that "Slow Girl Summer," and I'm here for it. And so I've been taking a couple of steps towards that direction. I had planned and maybe even talked about this last episode to stop wearing the Apple Watch as much, and I really haven't worn it at all. I really have not. Um, it's just been sitting here on the side table. I doubt it's even charged anymore, and so I haven't been wearing the Apple Watch, which kind of frees me from the constant need to look at time, but also to see, like anytime, whatever, to see all the notifications that come across. At first, I was off balance because I wear the rope of relationship on my right wrist, and I had the Apple Watch on my left. And when I took it off, it kind of made me, a little too light on the left side, and so I was kind of leaning down. And then Sam came through pretty clutch with the bracelet that he brought that with some beads on it. Um, and I was able to put that on, and that was good. That got me back on balance. But I tell you what, that no matter how many times I look at that beaded bracelet, it doesn't tell me the time. And I've definitely looked at it about a dozen times probably, and I've for sure felt those haptic buzzes, vibrations in my wrist or in those beads for a few days, even though obviously those were phantom. I'm thinking about maybe going back with the old school hemp bead bracelet, but not sure I can capture or recapture that '90s vibe. But along with the getting rid of the watches is I'm gonna take a break from the Meta Um, Facebook will be easy. That's not something that I really venture into much anymore either. Anyway, but Instagram will be a little bit more of a challenge. But I'm gonna turn off the Instagram for the summertime, and I'll pick it back up in August because I do enjoy documenting the school year. And I think I think that's a good thing, a positive way to use the old Instagrams. But yeah, I'm gonna, I know I know this, it really does seem like such a gargantuan sacrifice. But I mean, hey, I'm isolated in a lot of ways, and so by choice mostly. But the social part of Instagram is engaging to me. And how are you going to know like which philosopher or poet that I was going to post that day, or like the picture of me from 1996? How are you gonna? What are you even going to do without those particular posts of dad jokes? But yeah, I'm gonna make a final post, which is always funny. It's funny, like, hey, I'm gonna stop Instagram, but I feel the need to make a post that says I'm gonna that I'm gonna. But anyway, I'll do that sometime today. I mean, documenting the books that I've been reading has been something too, so I will keep up with that. Um, but I've been doing some summer nesting. I'm a high school teacher by trade. That is my main identity, as I've talked about, and we're all but done. We've got a few days left of like makeup testing, but in terms of me, I've got my grades in, I've got all the things, I got all the boxes checked, room cleaned up, all that. Like I'm ready. And so there's like a dodgeball tournament Tuesday evening. Of course, we're off Monday anyway for Memorial Day. And then a couple of graduation practices, and then graduation is next Friday. And then that's pretty much it. I've got AP grading coming up, but yeah. So I've kind of thought about it, like I do this. I think every year is some type of summer nesting. I know I'm going to be around a lot, and so I've been cleaning out buildings and arranging the front porch and trying to clean up and simplify and put some flowers out and those types of things. And I we got a new bed. We're living that Tempur-Pedic life now. And we got it like it's got the adjustable frame and all that kind of stuff with the remote control because we're old. Um, but I'm definitely a zero gravity guy for while I'm watching the NBA playoffs. I'm just zero gravity. I realize though that when it's time to sleep, I'm a flat guy. So you just hit the little minus button and it takes you right back down. And I'd spent, whatever, this is door in the face phenomenon. I think I'd spent, so, the amount of money that I spent on the bed. And so a pillow, which was buy one, get one free, didn't seem like that big of an expense. And so I did get two of them. I got the cloud pillow, and it's been really great, man. And like Sarah's sleeping really well. And it took me a couple of days because new things think they take me a couple of days. Um, but yeah, so the bed that I had, which was a big queen, whatever, memory foam type thing, we moved that into Isaac's room. Sam's living up in Boone this summer, and so we got rid of the bunk beds, some IKEA bunk beds that we had put together. I don't know, man, a dozen years ago, 10 years ago, and they lasted us, and they did really good job for us. But now Isaac has rearranged his space. He's got his own space, and so I think we're just gonna burn. We're gonna have a big fire and burn those bunk beds from IKEA. Um, so summer nesting is going on. I hope you've had a chance, or if you, I don't know, if you're into the Avets, their new album came out. It's a self-titled album. It's really good. I gave it a 6 out of 10 to start, and then after a few listens, I was up to seven, and now I'm up there, and it's an album as a whole, and there are songs that you can pick out. There are songs that you can pick out. There are ones that I will put on a playlist that I will pull away. But really, it's a 40 something minute album experience. And I think listening to it from front to back is really the way to go here. And for me, I would say it's definitely better than The Third Gleam. I don't think that there's any question about that. But I would put it in the category with The one with Ain't No Man on it. Is that one what that one's called? The one with No Hard Feelings on it. Like it really is one of their excellent, excellent albums. But there is a song, like I said, called Cheap Coffee, and Cheap Coffee is my favorite. I'm pretty sure it's track three on the album. Cheap Coffee, it's from the kitchen, whatever. I forget how those, but it's like I didn't know it could go so fast. I didn't know it would be that good. I didn't know it could be so good. But those are kind of the phrases, and it's almost like he's singing with his kid. And, um, but at the end, there's this voice recording of Scott Avett and one of his kids, and the kid's talking like, man, I bet you're gonna live to be like 200, a million years old, and is that the biggest number or something like that? And Scott says, no, actually, the biggest number is infinity. And he's explaining that to the kid, and the kid's reaction is what's real, because like for me, I try to put on these airs like, oh yeah, I'm the guy that's here, understanding how to tell you about infinity, and I can explain all these masters, these I can master the mysteries of life. I'm approaching that, whatever. But the response after he says infinity is a number that never ends, the little kid just says, gosh. And that's really more me. That's really more me. Just the wonder of it all. Makes me think about the birth, Christmas time. I got a new haircut, or I got the same haircut, but I just went a lot shorter on the top, designed for some ease. Now I've practiced. I go to the same person. I go to Kathy every single time, about every 3 weeks. Um, but she knows the way that I want my man. I'm a lot like Sheldon Cooper, y'all. Okay, anyway, um, but she has my haircut records, and so I go in there and she knows exactly what I want, and I don't have to. But I was gonna ask for something different this time, so I had to practice. I had to rehearse, and I do this like if I'm going to the drive-through at Bojangles or whatever to get Isaac's Chicken Supremes, 4-piece Chicken Supremes combo, fries and sweet tea and a honey mustard, please. And I rehearse that like I need to be ready to talk to the person. Now at Bojangles, they'll try to upcharge you, and they'll say, "Do you want medium or large?" And what you got to say to them is, "No, I just want regular." And then because not if not, if you get a medium costs more than regular. And I'm just telling you that if you go to Bojangles, don't let them do that to you. Just tell them you want regular. But anyway, I walked in and told Kathy that I just wanted, like I thought about buzzing it. I thought about buzzing it because that would definitely be the easiest path. But I do like the style on top, and I do like going in every 3 weeks and sitting in Kathy's chair and talking about town stuff and talking about family stuff and all that, like I do. So I rehearsed it. I nailed it. I said it exactly like I rehearsed it. It was perfect. And she did, man. She cut it just like I said, and it is definitely very short on the top. And I'm looking for the ease this summer because, man, ah, I'm thinking about going to just be a one shower guy for the summer. We'll see, because I know walking early on is ideal, especially as that summer heat cranks up. I'm not sure how not having two showers. I'm a morning shower guy, and I'm a nighttime shower guy. I'm definitely going to be a nighttime shower guy. I can't be. I got to be clean when I get into my new Tempur-Pedic sheets, man. And so, I don't know. It's we'll see. But I've only got a few towels that I really like, and I'm trying to wash fewer towels, trying to save a little bit of water. All these types of things. I could save on my orange ginger Bath and Body Works if I'm only doing one shower a day. It's a struggle. It is a struggle. I know you will want to be updated. I think I've settled on my left forearm. Um my set sail for the New World and Sequoia cone tattoos on my left deltoid, and I'm not. I don't think I'm a sleeve guy. I don't think I want to build the whole thing out into a full sleeve. But I feel like the three suns tattoo that I'm looking for. is going to be left forearm. Could somewhere left arm, but I think left forearm. And I'm trying to think about the different types of suns that I want to see. And I even thought about a sunflower, like a sunflower, but that was still a sun, to represent Sid. But we'll see. I was looking with my new fresh fade and my neat, what do we call it? My ease haircut. I was thinking about an earring once again, but man, I really just think I'm trying to recapture 1996, when I was 18, 19, whatever. My kids are working. My oldest boy is working at the Daniel Boone Inn. He's already got a bunch of great stories from there. He's still training, so he's kind of working for free, like $8 an hour or something like that. He hasn't able to get tips yet, but that'll be coming soon. Sydney's been working a little bit this already a little bit, and she's working pretty regular for our friend Jackson. Some good stories with all that kind of stuff. I've been reading a lot of good stuff. Real Americans is fantastic. Kristen Hanna is just fantastic. I think I probably ran my course with her for a little while. It's just so gut wrenching, man. The Ministry of Time was really good. I thought that was really good. Um, I'm reading Sal Khan's book about AI. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. That's kind of the meat of this after this long intro. I'm looking forward to Ken Wilber's new one that comes out in June. Good Lord Bird. I've read Deacon King Kong, and I read the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. Good Lord Bird is another one by that author, and there's one called Night Watch that's on the way. But then you know what? I really need to jump back into Tolkien and maybe Rothfuss. Maybe go back and read some of the classics. But anyway, before we kind of move into the final segment, I do want to say that I went to a graduation party for my nephew. He graduated from the University of the South Sewanee, uh, out towards Nashville area. But I had to get a little Peru. But I talked to his namesake, which is his uncle, my sister-in-law's brother, whose name is Phelps, Phelps Sprinkle. And Phelps is working with this thing called Peace Haven, which is a community design, garden, living areas, for people with varying degrees of disability. Um, his daughter was born with a version of CP, and so he's lived this life, and he's working to raise money. But it's, the way he described it is if there was going to be about 200 people living in this community, then maybe 80 of them, maybe 100 of them have disabilities, but the others don't. And they're people there to support not only the folks who are living with a disability, but for their caregivers as well. Like a lot of times the parents just run out of steam. And so there'll be people there for them. Um, peacehavenfarm.org, I think. Man, I should have been ready for this. But it's up near the Red Oak Brewery, like up near Elon College in North Carolina. The more I hear about this, I'm gonna keep you updated. But yeah, summertime. AP tests are over. AP Psych was delayed a little bit because we had a huge storm that knocked a bunch of power out. I got a bunch of awesome notes and gifts from my students this year, like some really meaningful stuff. Um, and that was good. And we were able to wrap up in a really positive manner. But my friend Donnie says, yeah, you know what? Now it's time to get back to the drawing board because that's what we do. And I think that's part of what really good practice is reflection, willing to tweak and even overhaul. And so back to the drawing board we go for this kind of annual reset. And the first is thinking about discipline. And I gave this thing out to one of my civics classes just to ask them, what limitations and implications are there for the following as they respond? Because those are words that we use in AP seminar, and beginning to think about the claims that you make aren't always absolutely true, or they aren't always foolproof. That there are limitations and implications. It doesn't mean you don't still go with it. But things like for me, we've got to we got to deal with phones. We got to get rid of phones through the day. We just got to do it. I don't mean get rid of technology, as I'll talk about in just a second, but we really got to do that. I think if you have to go to in school suspension, that you should have to copy the Constitution. Math teachers don't want it to be where you have to do a bunch of math problems because they don't want to see math as a punishment. Well, whatever. Copying the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence or Fed 51, I don't care if that's a punishment. You shouldn't get to go if you do something that is disruptive, then you should have to pay a penalty for that. You should have to do some things that you don't want to do. And often, too often, kids want to go to ISS. Cheating, immediate zero as a test grade. Second cheating, failure in the 9 weeks. A third, failure in the course, even on homework. We've got a cheat even for all our kids. Um, it's out of control. Late work, 25 points off. If you're identified as a habitual hall wanderer and gatherer in the bathroom, then you forfeit your right to leave class. You only get 5 emergency bathroom passes for the semester. I don't, I don't think I don't think there should be a limit on bathroom passes because sometimes people got to go. Um, and really, we're only talking about a dozen or 2 dozen kids who are always in the hallways. And a lot of that's on the teachers, man. So teachers need to be held accountable for letting those kids out all the time. No pajama pants. I mean, I don't know why. I'm not trying to be an old man, but I mean, it's just kind of like, come on. If you get caught vaping, you should have to clean the bathroom. Um, Absences beyond 6, unexcused absences, forfeit your ability to make up any work that happens in class on the day that you're out, including tests and projects. Earbuds and headphones, but again, that's with the phone. I think all students should be required to take 6 weeks of a CTE skills class. All students should have to take at least 6 weeks, and that would require some flexibility in scheduling, some creativity in scheduling. But welding, carpentry, automotive, electronics, culinary, whatever, design, something. I don't think classes should be more than an hour long. I really think they should be 50 minutes on a year long basis. An hour and a half is too long. So anyway, those are some of the things I was thinking about with discipline. But I'm thinking about overhauling my entire structure, um, because I'm reading this book by Sal Khan Academy about AI and how it's coming, it's here, and he's created his own thing called Conmigo, and how we really like the benefit of individual instruction that comes along with these generative AI components is amazing. And that's what we wish we could do. We wish we could spend individual time, but that's not what we do. We put 30 kids in a class and then we kind of teach the middle. We kind of teach the middle, and the upper kids get bored, and the lower kids are still getting left behind. And so for me, like I'm trying to think about, all right, I want to design a situation mainly for my regular level civics class, what I'm talking about. This doesn't necessarily apply to AP, although it may apply to AP seminar. But like, let's say that there are 10 units of study, that it is possible that a group of students stays in unit one the entire year because you cannot move out of unit one until you master basic skills. And I'm talking about reading and writing. I'm talking about responding with claims. I'm talking about um, being able to meaningfully digest and meaningfully converse about the content. But really before that, basic skills of writing sentences and reading and understanding short and very basic passages. And so there's a pyramid, so to speak, basic skills and then basic content, effort somewhere around in there. Maybe effort comes before the basic content. And then, mastery. And then even mastery on a content level is still maybe a 93. And for those kids who really want to excel, because they normally would be getting left behind, because they normally would be getting bored, then maybe there's some type of creative project that comes along with it in order to gain those next 7 points, because many of them do want the 100. But there's choice built into that because you can get an A without having to do that final creative task. You can get a B without full mastery. I don't think you can get an A in the course unless you progress through, I don't know, I haven't gotten to that number, maybe 7 out of the 10 units of study. Maybe it's higher than that for an A. But a situation which will be difficult for an individual teacher with 30 students in a room to manage. It will take a great deal of effort, but I read the stat that 54%, according to the U.S. Department of Education, about 54% of people from like, I don't know, 10 to 74, or somewhere around there, 17 to 74 years of age, 54% of those people in this country cannot read past a sixth grade level. We are an increasingly low literate country. And there are a bunch of implications for that I will not get into for this. So anyway, I'm thinking about all of that kind of stuff again, brought on by reading really fascinating stuff about the potential for using generative AI and Conmigo in particular, which, Con's he's doing this stuff for free, or he's offering it for free. But this individualized versus standardized idea, that concept, the standardization is helpful and it's what we can do, but now we can do more. So, but speaking of AI, well, first I got to tell you, as me and Good were in the room talking about, we were literally back to the drawing board. We were writing these pyramids and stuff out on his whiteboard. Um, Another colleague came in and was asking me. She's like, she really had a question for me, and she wanted to ask me about podcasting because she's the director of something or another for this coming summer. And one of the things that they do is they've got access to like a state of the art room to do podcasting. And she was asking which platform I used, and so I was telling her about Podbean and all this kind of stuff. I was like, this is awesome. I'm definitely going to tell the DT Madness listeners that I'm kind of the guy now that people come to ask about. The state of the art. I tried to explain the state of the art Nook that I'm broadcasting from here, but I think you really just got to experience this wonder for itself. So anyway, I thought that was funny. But about AI, I asked ChatGPT if Conmigo is the thing for the classroom, and I'm really excited about it because it's based on GPT-4, and it's the guardrails in there. It won't just directly give the student the answer. It walks them through. It challenges them to think alongside. And I've practiced with it a little bit. It really is a really exciting, potentially exciting tool. But I asked GPT if it had ever heard of DT Madness. And it says, yes, I have heard of the podcast DT Madness. It is hosted by Daniel Thomas and covers a range of topics, often incorporating elements of storytelling, personal reflections, and cultural commentary. The podcast appears to delve into a variety of subjects from light-hearted musings to deeper, more introspective discussions. Some recent episodes include titles like Embrace Your Cupcakes, Fives for 5-5, and Zombie Energy, which suggest a mix of whimsical and thoughtful content. The podcast is well received with a solid rating on platforms like Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio. Listeners appreciate Thomas's engaging style and the way he weaves together different themes and stories, making it a popular choice in the society and culture category on various podcast platforms. If you're interested in exploring diverse and thought-provoking discussions, DT Madness might be worth checking out. How about that, man? How about that? And it gave me it gave me a list of possible topics too. I asked it what I should do next on my podcast. So we'll see if I follow along with that. Now, Isaac warned me that it knows what I want, that it learns me, and that it knows that I am susceptible to flattery and affirmation. And so saying all those good things about the podcast, I'm completely set up for its takeover of me. Hmm. Anyway, already thinking about next year, working on the tennis schedule because I'm a tennis coach. Thinking about AP GoPo and AP Seminar. I've got a huge class coming up, a class of 40 plus for AP Government, and so I'm going to get to teach it in a little theater. And I've got so many ideas already just wandered around there so many with that type of space and a stage and the ability to create. It's going to be amazing. I'm really excited about that. So I'm thinking about all that, but first, I'm just here for my slow girl summer awareness, nonetheless. Well, this has been a Church of Six production brought to you by the Bucket of Life, by the rope of relationship, the foundation tower of stone, the wall of belief, and the token of hope. Brought to you by the Magic Rock times one received and one given. Nothing divine is desperate, and in order to be, try to never seem. May all your circumstances serve to awaken compassion, and as you go, teach peace. Don't forget to believe, y'all, and be live. Grace and peace, my friends.